nor their dignity to. As the first princess, a vision of exotic beauty, her eyes flashing with a mixture of allure and haughty disdain, was assisted onto the deck. Pip, utterly starstruck by her exquisite beauty, breathed out, his voice barely a whisper, "Oh, wowie." The Sultan's eyes narrowed, a flash of irritation in their depths. Kelsal quickly elbowed Pipkin in the ribs, a sharp admonishing jab that silenced him instantly. "I heard that, young man," the Sultan snapped, his voice, though soft, carrying an undeniable edge of imperial displeasure, a subtle warning that carried far more weight than a roar. "I forgive you for your ignorance of the customs of my country. Were you in Marani like a chicken? Do you find my daughters amusing? Ensign, is this the behavior of American allies, to gaze upon my daughters as if they were mere theatrical curiosities?" Kelsal immediately stepped forward, bowing profusely, desperately attempting to smooth over Pipkin's blunder with a barrage of soothing words. "Oh, well now, wait a minute, Your Highness. He didn't mean any harm. You see, in our country, wowie, WOW, that's sort of like a ceremonial greeting, an expression of profound, almost religious, admiration for feminine beauty, like a poetic exclamation, if you will, an outburst of spontaneous, innocent wonder." The Sultan, however, remained unmollified, his brow still furrowed with displeasure. "Like a chicken, Commander? No, I think not. Your explanation, while imaginative, Commander, fails to satisfy my imperial sensibilities. The next man who dares to debase the dignity of the princesses will answer to me, and me alone, with extreme prejudice. Commander, I assure you." His voice, now colder, brooked no argument. One of the princesses, a woman of striking elegance and fierce, intelligent eyes, who Kelsal would soon know as Princess Syria, stepped forward. "And me," she added, her voice equally sharp and unyielding, a proud, defiant declaration. Kelsal gulped, ushering his awestruck crew to attend to the Sultan's baggage, trying to keep their gazes strictly on the mundane tasks at hand. "All right, you guys, go get them luggage. This way, Your Highness. Ladies, Your Highnesses. Boys, I think we will fill." "Just bowing, sir." He hissed the last instruction, hoping they understood the dire implications of another slip-up. The Sultan, a slight, almost imperceptible smirk playing on his lips, watched the frantic, clumsy crew, a hint of amusement finally breaking through his regal displeasure. "Well, you run a tight ship, Commander? A rather unconventional tightness, I must say. This is rather an interesting craft. Commander, if my country had a navy, I would certainly include a fleet of these. They are quite nimble, Kelsal, and surprisingly fast. The important thing is to maintain control of the boat at all times." "Your Highness," Kelsal explained, keen to impress and desperate to redirect the conversation from Pipkin's earlier blunder. "See what the wind can do when one is not vigilant." Suddenly, one of the younger princesses, intrigued by the gleaming controls, her curiosity outweighing her regal upbringing, reached out and grabbed the wheel, giving it an experimental tug. "Unhand that helm immediately, Princess." "Oh no, hands," Pipkin exclaimed, seeing Kelsal's panicked reaction, rushing forward with frantic gestures. "I wouldn't touch it, Your Highness." "No, sir. No, it wasn't really his fault, Your Highness. You see, the seas are a bit rough, and the steering is very sensitive, easily thrown off course, Commander." The Sultan, however, mistook Kelsal's outburst, thinking it was directed at the princess, not at the sudden lurch of the boat. "Oh, that's just my father, Commander, my daughter. Where's the Prince of Syria? Is she trying to take the helm, Commander? She has a rather adventurous spirit, I'm afraid, and a fascination with machinery." "Syria, come here, daughter," the Sultan called out, a hint of sternness in his voice. "Yes, father," Princess Syria replied, releasing the wheel and stepping back demurely, a slight smile playing on her lips, clearly enjoying the chaos she had inadvertently caused. Kelsal, seeing an opportunity to placate the Sultan and, more importantly, to keep his crew away from the princess's alluring presence, quickly chimed in. "If Your Highness is so interested in PT boats, perhaps you'd like to handle this one, sir. You know, drive it, take the helm yourself. A truly unique experience. Sir, an honor reserved for the most distinguished visitors, Your Highness. The Sultan's eyes lit up with genuine, boyish interest, his regal bearing momentarily softening. Yes, sir. Here. The wheel, sir. Just steer. Right here. And wait. It's quite relaxing. And it's lots of fun. A truly exhilarating pastime. Commander, one I should like to master. May I? The Sultan asked, genuinely captivated by the prospect of controlling the powerful vessel. Yes, Kelso enthused, carefully guiding the Sultan's hands to the helm, instructing him on its basic operation. That does sound like a most amusing advertisement for naval technology. My guest, here you are, sir. Enjoy the freedom of the open waves. It was an innocent, yet ultimately disastrous gesture, one that would lead to further complications, though Kelso was, at that moment, blissfully unaware of the full extent of the chaos he had just invited. Upon their return to Koroki Atoll, the reception committee was arrayed on the galleon gangway with full honors. Commodore Horatio Buffington III stood front and center, stiff as a starched plank, radiating an air of smug accomplishment, convinced his plan to make Kelso flounder had worked to perfection. Lieutenant Elroy Phibbs, looking considerably less smug, hovered anxiously behind him. Greetings, O exalted ruler of Mariani, O noble ally and friend, Buffington boomed, his voice overflowing with pompous cordiality, resonating across the pier. Allow me to introduce myself. Sir, I am at your service. I am Commodore Wallace B. Buffington III, commander of this esteemed installation. I trust your highness has had a safe voyage. Sultan Alistair Al-Marini, still buzzing from his exhilarating experience at the helm of Torpedo Tube 73, extended his hand, his eyes sparkling with a subtle mischievous glint that Buffington entirely missed. Yes, Commodore, and a pleasant one, thanks to your commander. He's a very efficient officer, and his vessel is most amusing to pilot. A true marvel of modern engineering, I must say. Buffington, his smile tightening to a grimace at Kelso getting the credit, quickly recovered, his inner fury barely concealed beneath a thin veneer of forced cheer. Yes, isn't he? We're very proud of him. A fine example of American ingenuity, sir. Utterly, uniquely. He patted Kelso on the shoulder, a gesture that conveyed both superficial praise and an underlying, barely concealed threat, a warning wrapped in politeness. Oh, thank you, sir, thank you, Kelso replied, sensing the hidden venom in Buffington's touch. And now, your highness, Buffington continued, eager to assert his own importance and remove the attention from Kelso. If you and your daughters will accompany me, I'll be glad to show you your quarters. I'm sure you're going to find them very satisfactory, of the highest standards of comfort and diplomatic hospitality. Sir, present, run, good. He motioned for the royal party to follow him, already picturing Kelso. Later that evening, back in the familiar, slightly oily confines of the Torpedo Tube 73 lair, its walls adorned with pin-ups and battle-worn souvenirs, Kelso recounted the day's events to his amused, yet restricted, crew. They lounged on bunks and overturned crates, a motley collection of uniformed individuals who preferred chaos to order. Hey, Skip, how'd you wrangle that dinner invitation? Gus Grumbled asked, ever direct, his mouth full of a stolen pineapple fritter. Kelso smirked, leaning back against a bulkhead, his own uniform already run. It's a command performance. Gus, the Sultan was so thrilled with the boat ride that he insisted that Buffington invite me to the big dinner, said I was amusingly unconventional. So I guess I'll have to return to that torture chamber formality. Such a bore. Willie, the whale Wiggins, always practicum, offered a suggestion, his large face concerned. You'd better bring along a food taster, Skip, just in case Buffington tries to redecorate your insides with something toxic, a rather insidious form of diplomatic incident. Crewman Chuckle Higgins nudged Gus, his eyes twinkling. Hey, Skip, if you get a peek at the girls, tell us what they look like, huh? Are they as pretty as they seemed on the boat? Any potential future liaison, sir? Kelso glared, feigning irritation. Never mind the girls, you guys are restricted to the base. Higgins, you're in charge here, while I endure diplomatic niceties. And no unauthorized departures. Do you hear? Right? Skip. Chuckle saluted smartly, a mischievous glint in his eye that suggested he had no intention of actually keeping them restricted. I'll keep an eye on them. Man, starting now. Willie grumbled, stretching out on a bunk that creaked under his considerable weight. Had a good time.